Hello everyone. Okay, this is Venu, and you are watching here Sri Programming. And in this session, we are going to discuss about the following topics. The first one is introduction about C language, introduction, and the second one is what are the various types of programming language, and the history of C, and the compiler, interpreter, the differences of a compiler and interpreter, execution flow of C program, and the structure of C programs with example keywords. Okay, and these are the topics we are going to discuss. So coming to the first slide. So it is about introduction. So actually, what is computer? What is computer? See, computer is it's a made of two component. One is hardware and another one is software. So one is hardware and another one is software here. So basically, what is mean by hardware? Hardware is the physical component. It is a physical equipment. Generally, hardware is called. Okay. Then what about software? What about software? Software is nothing but it is a collection of programs, and that allows the hardware to do its job. And this is the very important here. So it by using software, we can implement some task on the hardware here. So finally, with the help of software and hardware, we can build a system that is computer. Okay, and basically software is called it is collection of programs. Actually, what is mean by program? A program is some set of instructions, and not only set of instructions, and it is also having some data, and we are giving these instructions and the data in some proper sequence. Okay, and that causes a computer to perform some particular task. Okay, to perform some particular task, we need to give some set of instructions and some data to the computer, and finally to get one particular task, and that complete thing is represents here, that complete thing is represents here program. Okay, so generally, actually, why programming? Okay, what is the need of programming? So to interact an hardware or any machine, to interact any hardware or machines, so to develop some automatic task, compulsory we need some programming. Okay, so if we want to interact with any hardware component and any machines here, so we have to implement some automatic task. So for that purpose, we need to install some software in that hardware. Then only it can perform the operations. So that means overally, what we have to do, we have to create an intelligent machine here. For that purpose, we are doing the programming. So basically, what are the various software types? Okay, the softwares are okay two types here. The software types are two types. One is system software, and the second one is application software. So what is the difference between these system software and application software? So system software means the purpose of the system software is to operate the computer on hardware here. So if you want to make the functionality of the hardware, we need some software, and that is system software here. So system softwares can run independently. Okay, so what is the need of system software here? It's enable the computer to do its functionality. Okay, so to perform all the hardware components okay perfectly, we need some system softwares here. So, and that is here. So finally, using system software, we can enable the computer to function. Okay, So tell me, what are the examples of system softwares? Compilers, assemblers, some debuggers, drivers, and right. So in olden days, so once after taking the computer or laptop or anything here, we should install supposing drivers. That means drivers are the software which is related to the hardware component. So that is why the software which is related to the hardware is nothing but system software. Okay, then what about application software? What about application software? So application software means it's a, it completely depends on the system software. That means what? So once the system is having the system software, uh, after installing the system software, then only you can install the application software. That means what? It must be depends on another software. So that is why we can't run this application softwares independently. And most of your apps are designed for the purpose of like application software only. So application software is what it is related to the end user, not for the computers. So not for the hardware, it's for the purpose of end users. So finally, what is the one word difference between the system software and application software here? Application software enable the user to do its functionality, and system software is it's enable the computer, enable the hardware to do it functionality. Okay, so these are the two different types here. One is software and application software. What are the examples of application software here? So if I want to do some like arts related subjects, like if I want to do some operations, then I have to install Tally. I want to work with some database, then install Oracle. I want to listen some songs, so then by using MP3 players, real player or MP3 player, VLC player. So all these are application software. And not only that, if suppose I want to run my C program, then here I am using Code Blacker is what? It is an application software. Okay, it is an application software. Okay, and once this the differences of these two softwares is finished here, and we will see what are the various types of programming language. Okay, so now the types of programming languages are high level language and assembly language and the low level and machine language. Okay, and of course assembly and machine are same. Okay, but a high level and low level languages are some different. Let us see first what is mean by high level language. So high level languages are, it's a human understandable language here, human understandable language. That means what? Okay, the human understandable language means what? It is like a English like instructions, like a pseudocode instructions. So compulsory to convert this high level language. If you want to convert this high level language to some other language, we need some compilers. So that is why, so high level language once uh, whatever the languages here, C, C++, Java, all these are what? High level language. High level language. Once if you open that, it is in a human readable format here. So that is why it is high level language. And what about assembly language? The assembly language, it's contain instructions like mnemonic. Okay, and mnemonics. The assembly languages instructions are. So it's required. So generally, the system it knows only the machine instructions. To have to convert this machine instructions, assembly language to machine instructions, again, we need some translators here. Okay, so generally by using assembler, we can convert this assembly language to the machine language. Okay, and after then low level language. So here, sorry, the low level and machine are two same times here, not assembly and machine. The low level and machine are same. So low level is nothing but it is a machine understandable code. Okay, and it is in terms of it is some sequence of instructions in the form of zeros or ones, in the form of zeros or ones. And what are the languages? Machine language are here basic Fortran, and assembly language is COBOL. COBOL is the example. Okay, we don't want bother about this type of languages here. Just to see, just you have to differentiate here. What is high means it is in the readable format. Low level language means it is machine under not readable format, machine understandable format. Okay, object format. And assembly language means some it is mediator. Okay, that means by it's like English instructions in English abbreviations. Okay, so the mnemonics, if you open the assembly language, it should be like we can also call it some microprocessor instructions, some like sometimes here mnemonics. Okay, and this is about the types of programming language. Okay, the low level and machine level languages are both the two are same, and the high level is different and assembly also different. Here these two are same, not assembly and machine language. So low level and machine almost are same. Okay, and now, and once if it is finished here, so actually when the C language is introduced, okay, that is the history of C. So once if you see the history of C, the C language is introduced in 1972. Okay, generally it was developed by Dennis Ritchie, the scientist, and at AT&T Bell Laboratory. AT&T means American Telephone and Telegraphic. Okay, so in that lab here, in that lab, the Dennis Ritchie is the scientist who was developed C language. So before C, is there any other languages are there here? Before C, some languages are there, Fortran, like other languages are there. But anyway, I'm giving all the languages from 1960 onwards here. The language Algol, uh, it is introduced in 1960, developed by some organization. And BCPL, Basic Combined Programming Language, in 1967, developed by Martin Richard. B language, and it is 1970 by Ken Thompson. And the traditional C, your C language, traditional C is nothing but your C, and it is introduced in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie. Okay, and after then in 1978, the Kernighan and Dennis Ritchie they developed K and RC. And next ANSI C and ANSI ISOC C99 C11. So in the year 2011, developed by some standard committee. So from year to year, some from year to year, they had some new functionalities. Okay, new functionality to the existing version. Okay, and once the history completion of history of C. So actually, what is C language here? Generally, what is C? So here I'm telling C is first, it is a general purpose, high level, compiler based, and procedure oriented programming language. So, so once if anyone will ask about C means the C is generally we are saying that it's a procedure oriented, compiler based, high level, general purpose programming language. Okay, you can tell any one of this, or you can tell all this. Like it's a general purpose, high level, compiler based, and procedure oriented programming language. Okay, then why it is general purpose? General purpose means so using C we can develop different types of software. That is why it is general purpose. And C is it is a high level language. That means what? So if you open the C language here, it is all the instructions in readable format. That is, it is high level language. And C uses compilers to convert high level language to some assembly language. So that is why it is compiler based. And C program, if you represent, if you see any C application, it is in terms of procedures, functions, subprograms. So that is why C is a procedure oriented programming language. Okay, we have to represent C as a collection of procedure. That is why it is procedure oriented programming language. Procedure means function. Okay, and next C is it's a structured programming language. What is mean by structured programming language means if you we have to divide the program into some parts or module or blocks. That is why it is the structured programming language. C is called modular programming language, structured programming language also. And sometimes C is also called it is a mother language. So why it is mother language means to learn other programming language. So if you are learning C program very easily, then you can learn remaining other programs like Java, .NET, Python, any other. So that is why it is the mother language. And of course, almost the syntax usage of other programming languages are similar to the C. In that case, also we can consider C is mother language. Okay, and C uses C uses compilers. And generally, in compilers, JVMs and kernels all are developed with the C language only. That is why C is mother language. Okay, and C is a system programming language. System programming language. Why C is system programming language means to develop so any system related software, C language is required. So like device drivers developing, kernel developing, and Linux commands, all Linux commands can be implemented by using C only. So that is why it is a system programming language. And C is it's a middle level language also. C is middle level. Sir, why C is already you told C is high level. So basically, in C language can support the features of both low and high level features. So that is why it is middle level language also. And using C, we can develop Unix operating system, and we can develop some system applications. Okay, we can develop system applications also. So that is why C is more popular, and C is general purpose, high level, compiler based, and processor oriented programming language. Okay, and once mm, after completion of uh, the definition of the various definition of C language here, we will see what are the uh, translators we have used in C language here. Generally, the C language uses compiler, translator, and of course, okay, we have some translators are there, but one is compiler and second one is interpreter. And what is the difference between these two? Okay, so coming to the first one, the compiler, it can scan the code at a time here. It can the scan the complete code at a time. That means what? So if it will read, if compiler, once if we read a single line instruction, it can perform fetching, parsing, syntax verifying, and translating, storing. After then, it is okay. So after storing here, again, it will read the second line instruction. Again, it will fetch, parsing, syntax verifying, translating, and storing. Like if it is stored complete all the instructions here. Once, if it is read all lines of instructions here, and that entire instructions can be executed at a time here. So that is why it can scan the code at a time. So that is why so that is why. So see, after storing all lines of code, the entire code is going to be executed. But what about in the case of interpreter here? Interpreter, it can scan the code line by line. That means for a single line instruction, it can perform fetching, parsing, syntax verifying, and directly translating. And after then, it is executed, but it is not stored. Okay, so for each and every line of instruction, it can perform these operations. But in the case of a compiler, it can perform these 5 actions and store the results. Okay, like after completion of all the instruction, then only it can be executed. But in this case, every time, for each and every line of instruction, it is executed. So that is why interpreter scan the code line by line, and the compiler scan the code at a time. Okay, so these are where we use this compiler. Compiler is used in C language, and a compiler and interpreter, both the two are used in Java. Okay, and now, so what are the actual applications areas of a C language here? What are the application areas? So we have several application areas of C. The first area is system softwares like OS and device drivers. In that area we used, and translators like compiler, interpreter, assembler. In that place also we used C language. Editors, DOS, VI editor, Notepad in Windows. In that also we use the C language. And spreadsheet programs like MS Excel, Lotus 123, word processor, some animation softwares, hmm, and DBMS softwares, banking sectors, developing games, and in embedded system also we can use here like chip programming, embedded software also we can use the C language. So these are the some of application areas of C, and not only that here, even though some of famous space organizations also use C language. Okay, and these are the application areas of C. And after then, so what are the features? What are the properties of C here? What are the properties? C, the properties are simple. Simple means what? The C language syntax is it's very easy here. So if you see all single C language instructions, it is like English. So that is why it is simple. And portable. Portable means you can execute your C program in various operating system also. Okay, mid level. So already you know C support the features of high and low level. That is why it is mid level. And the C is structured programming language. And C uses various libraries called math.h, string.h, stdlib.h, conio.h. So it use some rich library set also. And C is extensible here. So if we add OOPS principle to C language, C++ will come. And recursion. Recursion means the function call itself. A function it can call automatically is called recursion. That is the feature. And pointers. Pointers are nothing but variables which hold the address of the next variable. And faster execution. Why compiler? It uses compiler. Compiler scan the code at a time. So that is why it execute the instruction very fastly. And good memory management. Good memory management means what? So if you take any type of variable, primitive, user defined, derived type of, some memory is allocated. And flexibility. Flexibility means it use low level functions, low level type of functions. And modular approach. Okay, splitting our program into some modules. That is why it is modular approach. And case sensitive. Case sensitive means there is a difference of small and capital letters. Hmm? So that is case sensitive. And this is about here features of a C language. And now coming to the execution of a C program, the compilation and execution of C program. C. So here I am showing the diagram. So first we have to give some source program to the preprocessor. Okay, preprocessor, and the preprocessor it can expand the code and convert your impure C program into pure C program, and that is given to the compiler. And compiler will convert given high level language to the assembly language. And this assembly language code is given to the assembler, generate a object code. Okay, and this object code, okay, it is given to the linker. And linker it can it can combine this object file with some other libraries, and combine all the object files into some single executable code here. And this executable code is load with the help of loader. So finally the expected output will come here. So up to this only you will get some .exe file here, and .exe file. So here it is your .c file. And where some preprocessor, it is preprocessor means this hash we are called here. Hash is the preprocessor statement here. So all preprocessor statements are expanded with the help of preprocessor. And now we are converting the impure C program into pure, and which is given to the compiler. Compiler is it's a translator convert high level language to low level language. The low level language is your assembly language. So compiler it uses some various phases like lexical analysis, syntax analysis, semantic intermediate code generation, code optimization. By using all this phase, phases it can convert into assembly language, and this is given to the linker. Okay, and this assembler can generate some object code. So, and this is given to the linker, you will get .exe file. So .c and .obj file, and next .exe file is the finally where it is generated through the linker, and this is loaded with the loader. Okay, into the with the help of loader, and this .exe file into the RAM, and finally the expected output will come. Okay, so here I am giving the first .c source program, and it is given to the after then you will get some object code, and this object code and some library functions is given to the linker, and it will generate .exe file which is given to the loader, and it will get the expected output. The expected output will come, and this is the execution flow of a C program here. The execution flow of a C program. See, so here, what are the phases we are observed in the execution flow of C program here? First, preprocessor. The source code firstly passes to the preprocessor, yes, and this preprocessor expands this code and passes to the compiler. That's all. So, using preprocessor, we are expanding the source code. We are expanding. It is substituted, not evaluating it. Just it is substituted. And next, compiler. Compiler already we know it's a translator converting high level language to the assembly language, and assembler convert assembly to some object. So finally linker link the object code with the libraries, create the executable file and store it on the disk. And to execute any program, it must be placed in the memory. Okay, memory loader. So now you will get finally the .exe file is loaded into the memory, you will get the expected output. Okay, and the .exe file is consisting of some missing instructions, and which can understandable only by the microprocessor and operating system. Then the expected output will come. Okay, and now okay, once if it is finished here, the execution flow of C program here. So I have to explain about the structure of a C program. The structure of a C program. Basically, how the C programming structure it's look like. So it is having some sections like 6 sections. The first one is the documentation section. Second one is header file section, and third one is definition, global declaration, main section, subprogram section. Among all these, the main section and linkage sections are important, and rest of them are not mandatory. But anyway, I have to explain all these sections one by one. Okay, so let us see first documentation section. What it's consisting of actually. Documentation section, uh, if you see the documentation section, the documentation section represents here comments. Okay, comments. So how many types of comments? There are two types of comments are there. One is single line comments and another one is multiple line comments. So if you represent if you represent a comment in single line, use single line comment. So how we use single line? Just the letters followed by two forward slashes. I want to represent multiple line comments here. Then use this backslash star and the star backslash. Okay, this is called here multiple line comments. Multiple line comments. Okay, and once actually, what is the real usage of this documentation section here? Okay, and most of the time during the time purpose of debugging. So if suppose if we are doing some task, but we are expecting some unexpected results, that means what? So in that area we have to debug the code. So how to debug the code? Instead of deleting the complete code, put make some code into a comments here. At that purpose it is efficiently used. The comments are used efficiently anyway. So the comments are okay. If we write anything any between these comments and any information after the comment, that is not display onto the output window. That in the output window it is not showing anything here. That means you will not get that sentence or statements inside the comments and after the comments here, you will not get those statements at the output window. That means here when we use these comments here, compiler is ignore those statements. Okay. And not only this here, sometimes it is helpful to the programmer for better understanding the logic uses in the programs here. So already told during the debugging time, it is helpful. Okay. And never display comments onto the output window. So this, it won't be display onto the screen here. So it is uh, uh, so if anything, if we are putting like a comment, means it is not display onto the monitor. Okay. And this is about the documentation section. And once the documentation section is finished, the second one is linkage section. So what is linkage section here? So the linkage section, it's nothing but it is a header file section here. It is an header file section. So once what it's consisting of, generally the linkage section and header file consisting of all the it's consisting of the function prototypes and some variable declarations also. So see, here I'm using here I'm using hash include stdio.h. So stdio.h is the header file. It is the predefined header file. So I want to use some user defined header file. Then hash include in the double code. I'm writing this. Then what is the difference between these two here? What is the difference between these two? An Angular indicates it's the predefined path of the header file, and the double code indicates user defined path. So actually what happened here, once if you put this header file inside this Angular bracket, means the compiler it assumed that so the file stdio.h is inside the include directory. That means what, here indirectly Angular represents a predefined path, but double code means what, this file.c, it's a user defined file. It's a user defined header file, and it is not available inside the include. So it indicates here user defined path here. So that is the difference of predefined and user defined. Predefined indicates Angular brackets, user defined indicates double quotes. So otherwise, if you want to the proof of these two, I want to show okay, I want to show. So if where actually stdio.h, I will show that also. Okay, anyway, what is the difference here? stdio.h is consisting of, it is the standard output header file consisting of all input output functions prototype. Okay, file.c is consisting of all user defined functions definitions here. Of course, if it is user defined, definitions will have. Okay, if it is predefined, some only function declarations is available. Okay, so otherwise, I have to show that C tc and include, inside the include. So if I'm typing here std, just I'm writing, I'm specifying here stdio. So once if I'm opening this, once if I'm open this, then I will get all the function declarations here I'm getting. So all the functions inside this stdio will come. Okay. So that is about here. Here include is the, it's nothing, it's a directory here. See, so inside the include here, inside the include, it's having all the files. Okay. And generally people they assume feel like that include is the any keyword, or it's not a keyword here include. So just it is the directory inside this, the header files are available. And what is hash? Hash is a pre-process statement here. It is a we are called pre-process statement, hash is called. Okay. And once after completion of this linkage section here, so finally, what is the need of this linkage section here? See, if I want to use some this scanf and printf functions inside my C program, we must include the corresponding header file. Okay, we must include the corresponding header file. So that is why while we are writing any C program, we should include basically the minimum usage of scanf and printf functions are used in C program. That is why we should include stdio.h. I have to use some mathematical relation function, then math.h use. Like based on the usage of specific function, you have to include the corresponding header file here. Okay. Once okay, once if it is finished here, okay, once after the completion of your linkage and header file section, the next one is the definition section here. So what is mean by definition section here? The definition section is like this here. So the definition section, it's define the macro substitution here. Here macros, what are the macros? Generally macros are the names which records some constant values. See, I am taking here as defined pi 3.14. That means what? Replacing this pi with replacing this pi with 3.14. Okay, so wherever pi is there, it should be replaced with 3.14. That is called macro. But it's a macro substitution, not evaluation. It is macro substitution. Sir, why you are saying it is macro substitution means it's not expanded, the value is not expanded, just it is substituted. I will give proof of that also in future. Okay, so now this is here macro pi is the macro, and during the time of pre-processing, the value 3.14 is substituted in the place of pi. So always macros, the better usage of macros means what here, we have to express macros with the capital letters. So that is why I'm writing here as defined pi. Pi is the capital letter. Pi is I am representing as a capital, and during the time of pre-processing here it should be substituted. Okay, as is called pre-processive directive statement. Okay, as is called pre-processive directive statement. Okay, and once after finishing this definition section, what is global declaration section here? See, the global declaration, anyway, the declaration section means we have two types. Declaration section means so if I'm this is my main section. In the above main section, if I am declaring any variable, and that consisting as a global declaration section. So what is the advantage if you declare a variable globally means you can use this variables x and y throughout anywhere in the program here. So that is why we have to represent globally. So now if I am representing a variable r as global means I can access this r anywhere in the program. And I am not only variables here, we can declare functions also. Okay, here return type is float, name of the function is area, and it is having some argument, it is some global function. Okay, and we can access this variable throughout the program. That is the advantage here. So I will give the difference of this local and global variable with the concept of storage classes. Okay, so otherwise see I have to explain. Okay, here this is our main. Okay, anyway, after completion of the main program, I will explain. I have to explain about that. Hmm. So now global declaration means just above the main section we have to declare the variables. Okay, and after this, what is the next section? The next section is main section. The next section is main section, and main is consisting of the fields like local variables, declarations, and executable statements here. See, inside the main we can write some logic, and these are the various approach you can use the main function here. Some of the compilers they use main and they don't return any void, and they write some int main return anything, any one of them you can use. And most recommended one is int main return 0. We have to use, I will explain that also. So now inside the main section we have to declare some variables and executable statement it's consisting of. Let us see first. Okay, and see here in this case, this is my main section. It is here the default return type of main is integers. That is why we should return some value. So why we should return 0 means what? It indicates a success exist status of a operating system. That means what? Once if we close this program here, it should be written, we should return 0 means what? The program is successfully executed here. That indicate the indication of the status here. Like if it is written 1 -1, it will give different status. Anyway, return 0 means the successful exist status of the program here. Hmm. And next, the thing is that here, what I'm doing, I have to declare a variable. I'm declaring a variable like this, int a, and I have to declare and another variable like int b. Okay, int b. So now, if I'm declaring int a means I can access this a within the this function only, within this function. But suppose and outside I'm having one more function, but I want to access this a in this function, it is not possible. But what about b? I can access this b inside the main and outside the main also. That is the global. Okay, so local means generally, suppose it's like mset. Global means AIEEE, All India, all other AIEEE like IIT JAM, like entrance exams. Global means it is throughout the India. Okay, local means within the state only. So now, okay, local, if suppose local and global is having the same variable means local is having the higher priority. Okay, so now your local means the if a variable is local means whose scope is within the boundary. If it is global means you can access this variable inside the main section and outside the main also. That is the advantage. Okay, and that is the here this is global variable and this is local variable. And I have to explain about macro. Here, see, if I am writing a macro like this, generally as define, I'm writing a 2 plus 3, suppose I am writing, and after then immediately if I am writing percentage d comma a into a, I'm writing here. See, most of the people, they are assuming that here, if suppose if I'm compiling a, it is a macro, a is the macro, it is replaced with 2 plus 3, then it is replaced with 2 plus 3 means what? It is 2 plus 3 into 2 plus 3, then this value will become 3 to the 6, 2 plus 6 8, 2 plus 6 8, 8 plus 3 11. So answer is 11. But most of the students, they confuse like it is 5, 5 5 is 25 will come, it is wrong. Actually a is what? It is a macro. Macro means just it is substituted, not evaluated. Otherwise you can execute the code here and build the code, and I'm build and run the code. See what I'm getting? I'm getting 11. So this is macro here. Macro means the expression is the expression is substituted, not evaluated. Okay, and this is here definition section we are called it is, and a is called macro. A is called macro. Okay, anyway, coming to the uh, last section, I think the last section is here, the subprogram section. So subprogram section means it's showing all the user defined functions. The user defined function m is some function, it is having some logic here. Okay, so now again go to once here. So see, all the sections are finished here. Documentation section, linkage, definition, and these are not mandatory. Linkage section mandatory, definition, global iteration not mandatory. Only the mandatory are linkage and main section. These are optional. Okay, these are optional, but according to the requirement, we can add some more section, and we can don't want to, if you don't want to add, you no problem, no issues with. But mandatory are this main sections and the linkage section. Okay, anyway, after completion of this year, after completion of all the sections, I have to give one simple program. Have to give the complete example with the usage of the following 6 sections. Hmm? Okay. So my aim is here. I want to find out, suppose, so I'm writing the code from starting onwards. Now my aim is what I have to implement the code. I have to utilize all the 6 sections in my program. So my aim is the program, write a program to find, I have to find area. Okay, anyway, so first of all, I'm writing, I write a program to find area and mm, area and perimeter of the circle. I have to find out. The perimeter means circumference, okay, of the circle. Hmm. So I want to find out area and perimeter of the circle. And to implement this code, I have to utilize all the section. Okay, the first section I am representing this as comments. So that is documentation section. Okay, so if I have to represent into some two lines, then I have to write like this: program to find area and perimeter of the circle. Now it is comment section. So now I am representing this is comment. It is nothing but documentation section is over. And once documentation section is finished, what is the next one? What is the next one here? What is the next section? The next section is what are the various sections here? See. So, hmm, so now the second one is linkage section. So now that is why linkage section means header file section. That is why I have to include here stdio.h. I can include here by default stdlib.h is there. So that is why I can add both the two header files here. It supports some functions. stdlib, it's having some memory management function, calloc, malloc, free, realloc functions, and it uses some I2A, A2I functions also here. Okay, and after then, what is the next section here? Definition section. So anyway, I have to represent a macro as pi here. I am representing pi and whose value is some 3.14 here. Pi I am representing as a macro. Okay. Next to global declaration. So now I have to read the radius here dynamically. So that is why I am taking some r is my radius. Okay. And we can declare functions also. I have to use two functions. One is area. Okay. And another one is peri, just I am taking, and it is having two arguments. Okay, now this is global declaration section. So once if it is finished, what is the next one here? Main section. So that is why I'm declaring here main section. It's consisting of initially written zero statement. Okay, now thing is that what we have to do here. So my intention is I have to calculate area and perimeter. So that is why I need some input. So first of all I have to read some input. So that is why printf enter the radius of the circle. Okay, I'm writing here enter the radius of the circle. I'm writing. Okay, after then I'm reading my radius. Okay, once after reading the radius here, I have to call the function, but the function return type is yeah, the function return type is float. So that is why I'm writing here. So anyway, the radius type is float. So that is why I have to use here percentage f. The format specifier is percentage f. Just I am writing here the area of the circle is percentage some dot 2f I am writing. So that means after the decimal point it uses only 2 digits. That is why I'm writing percentage dot 2f comma. What is the name of the function? Area. And how to pass the radius. How to pass radius. Similarly, I can also write. Similarly, I can write here perimeter. Perimeter of the circle. So what is the name of the function here? Peri. That's all. Okay. Now, hmm, so now once if it is finished here, so we have to write the definition section here. This is function declaration and function call. Now write the function definition. So I'm writing here the function definition. So now here once if I am calling this r means what? R is substituted in the place of this x. Now we should return what is the formula here? Area is pi r square. So that is why pi into r means your x into x. That's all. And what about peri? It is 2 pi r. So that is why return 2 into pi into r means here y. One means it is y. See, this is your documentation section. This is header file section, definition section, linkage section, some global declaration section, and it is main section. And now these are the subprogram sections here. Subprogram section. Now I finished all the section. I have to compile the code and run the code. If I'm giving my radius is like 3.5, then I'm getting here area is the area of the circle and the perimeter of the circle is this. Okay. Okay. So here I covered all the sections of used in C language here, but the all sections are not mandatory. What are the mandatory sections? Only two, main and header file section. Okay. And once the completion of the structure of C program, the last one is the keywords. Generally, keyword means keywords are basic building blocks of the C programming here. That means what? If you take any C program, it at least it use some keywords here. So compulsory, any C program must having keywords. So I'm giving here according to the according to the ANSYS standard here. I'm telling first 32 keywords by starting and 145 predefined functions, some 27 header files. Okay, now it can be increased. Okay, it's not accurately here. Mm. And all keywords are having some internal meaning. And one more important, don't represent any variable name as keyword here. Okay, so keywords are basic building blocks of the C program. And now what are the various total 32 keywords here? See, once if you see the classification of keywords here, we have storage classes. In the storage classes we used 4 keywords like auto, register, static, extern, and the data types are this. So primitive data type, some other data types, and control types. Okay, control. So if it is 13, the data types are 13, and control types means for loop, do while, and those are including total 11. And others const, to represent any variable as constant, use const keyword. Return is used inside the function. Size of is also keyword. The special one is volatile. So totally 32 keywords. Hmm. we used in C language here. Hmm. Anyway, now so from version to version, so these keywords are incremented. Okay, and finally I have to conclude here. What is the conclude? The conclusion is this: C language is platform dependent. Okay, the C language is a platform dependent, and it is not a platform independent. Not platform independent. Why? Because here, see, once after generating your .exe file, it contains machine language instructions. Okay, the .exe file, and this .exe is given to the, okay, and these instructions can be understandable only by the microprocessor only, and it execute them and give the results here. So now see, the .exe file is understandable by the microprocessor and operating system, and if you change any one of them, this microprocessor and operating system, the .exe file is never run. So that is why, once if you are copying .exe file of one operating system into another one, it won't run. So because of platform dependent nature here, because of platform dependent nature. Why? Because here, see, the every operating system, hmm, it's having its own and separate data instruction sets. So because of this here, we can't execute .exe file of one operating system into the other operating system. So finally, it's the drawback of C programs here. Drawback of C is what here? It is a platform dependent. Even though if we build any software with this C here, we face this problem here, like a platform dependent problem. Generally, what is mean by platform means it is a processor plus a operating system. We are called generally processor, platform is called processor plus OS. Okay, and if we change any one of them, the .exe file is never run. So finally, the C language is having the drawback of what it is. It's a platform dependent. Okay, platform dependent. Okay, so now this is the complete session regarding what introduction about C, history, and features, properties of C, and keywords and structure of C program. Thank you for watching.